Hello and welcome to Goth Talk
Talk live.
Live with your hosts, Ralphie
Ralphie Hardesty
Hardesty.
and Kerri Lendo.
Oh, and now our theme song. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Ignore that. And now, all right, come on, share screen. Talk amongst yourself, Goth talkers. Okay. And now, theme song.
Welcome to Goth Talk Live!
Yay,
Lovely!
thank you. Yay. Thank you so much to my husband and
Mr. Goth Talk Live.
That's right, Mr. Goth Talk Live, Christopher Norman on Spotify, and also
he's married to me now,
and also to our good friend James Reed. The two of them made the fabulous theme song, so thank you so much.
I love it. It was perfect. It was perfect. This is episode 2 of Goth Talk Live. Thank you for everyone who came back, and to all our newcomers. We are a goth talk show. Ralphie and I, we're new goths. We're not pretending to be OG goths. We didn't have a cure written in white out on our backpack or anything.
No, yeah,
we're new to it. We're 39 somethings. We're almost 40. We're here to try something new. We're at a point where we're ready.
Exactly.
It took us a few decades.
I'm not a new anything and these days. I'm an old person at most things, but we are brand new goths. So we are doing this talk show so that we can learn a little bit about goth culture, which of course we are now a part.
We are now a part of. It's official. I still haven't gotten my card in the mail. Have you? I thought our certificates would be here by now. But...
Yes, I got mine in the mail.
Oh, okay. Maybe they sent it to my old place.
Oh yeah, you should call the office because mine came right away.
I did wear my goth outfit out all day long. I can't say it all. This is by I should tag him on Instagram. Wicked Threads, Allie Dixon on Instagram. I think I'm getting it wrong. Wicked Deal Threads. I'll put it on my Instagram. She got me this lovely goth dress, which I love. I don't know. I can't. It's really black, but this is my bow, my fancy bow. And anyway, so I wore it out to the coffee shop every day. I'm like, do people know? Do people I know I'm not a real goth, or do they think I am a goth, or am I a goth? Nobody noticed, of course.
Right.
I went out on Saturday. I had a show, and that sounded like a humble brag. I had a show, but there were some people totally goths, and they just blended in. They didn't stick out. I don't know why I'm so self-conscious.
I think a big part of being a goth is thinking about what people are thinking about you when you're goth. So
that's a big part of being Kerri, is thinking about what other people are thinking about me.
That's why this worked. That's a big part of being Ralph.
I sadly have to, before I put my glasses on, the lovely Jamie Hunt did my makeup and she killed it. It's so good.
Stun.
She was high, so it did take longer than we thought, but we're here. We're here now. We made it on time.
I did my own makeup once again. This week I was not high, and it took me the same amount of time. So
it looks good. Daddy's here. Daddy Goth is here.
Thank you.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I actually
Daddy.
I have my Fester pin on so that you can see how I identify. I'm this flavor of goth right here. And also shout out to Puss Gums in the chat who called me a low effort new goth. Noted. Thank you very much.
If this is low effort, I don't.
Thank you. So
I
before
mean,
you
good for high effort goth. A round of applause for any high effort goth out there who's putting in the work that we're not.
agreed. But before you call someone low effort, please submit what your makeup looks like right now. And also, I wore this collar through the P. Terry's drive-through to let them all know that I am a low effort new goth. So
Oh,
thank you.
I love it. It's not the only collar Pete Terry's probably seen today.
No, my goodness, no.
Did you get the burger or the veggie? They do have a great, I think, the vegan burger too for all the vegan goths out there. Not to say that that's what you got or that you have to get that. Or
No. I did. I got a the crispy chicken sandwich because I'm a bad goth who still eats chicken. But I do love their veggie burger. I love P. Terry's veggie burger. Shout out.
So good.
Yeah.
Shout out. And everyone in the comments, thank you for all the nice comments about our looks.
Yes.
Really,
thank you, chat. Good to see you. Hi,
I'm
everyone.
So did you do anything goth this week?
Did I do anything goth this week? Well, I watched the season premiere of the new season of Dragula. It just came out at midnight last night. And
that's on
it's on Shudder, which I forgot to cancel last time. I wanted to watch one thing on Shudder, but now I'm thrilled because I get to watch it again. I'm very excited. It was a very fun episode. I'm going to watch it again after this. It was really, really great. So
for the people who don't know, would you take us through the format of Dragula?
Oh, yes. It's Goth Drag Race. It's the Boulet brothers are RuPaul, and all of the contestants are supposed to do like spooky, gothy stuff. And it's really fun. The only difference is at the end of each episode, instead of lip syncing for their life, they hurt them. They do bad things to those drag queens. So it was a lot of fun. Loved watching.
Too bad, because I would love some spooky lip syncs for their life.
I know. That would be fun too. But it's also fun watching them get electrocuted and pierced and thrown out of planes. That's good television too. Yeah. Did you do anything goth this week, Kerri?
Well, like I said, I did wear my black outfit. I have you can't see, I have black boots, black tights on. Wore it around to the call, like I said. No one bats an eye unless fearless when you're wearing all black. And then, of course, I listened to a lot of goth music because at the end of the show, we're presenting our top 5 goth songs, which was hard. I said, listen, I was like, this is my list and I'm not going to apologize. But I am probably, as we read the list, going to constantly apologize.
Yeah, absolutely.
My nature. So I think that was the most goth thing I did. Oh, I watched Jessica's Body. That's a pretty goth movie.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Or Jennifer's Body.
Yeah. No, so good.
Yeah,
so good.
I'd never seen it. I don't. It just slipped through the right. It is funny though because it's a very 2004 or whatever. Like the music and the songs. It's like, oh no. I was like, is that gonna make a comeback? Like the emo, metrosexual look of men, just all of that music.
Oh, I hope so. God, that would be wonderful.
So we'll just see. The low-rise jeans are already back. So.
There's one more thing. While you were talking, I remembered another very goth thing I did was spend most of my therapy session this week talking about the movie Malignant, which I highly recommend to everybody.
I did watch Malignant with our friend Michael Grotman. Pretty much forced us to.
Yeah.
In a good way, and it was pretty fun. Although I wish I watched it in a group or in a theater because it would have been more fun.
Definitely. I watched it by myself one morning and it was a weird experience, but it would have been a lot of fun in a group of people. No question.
But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So we got a special guest today. We're going to be bringing in our guest today. She's a friend. She's a classic goth. She's going to talk to us about multiple goth topics. Everyone, welcome the very gothy Victoria Swaynos.
Yay!
Hello.
Welcome.
I'm going to
Thank you.
her bathroom. No, that's not what I want. I don't want those leaves. That's what I want. There we go.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Welcome to our show. Would you please start off by telling us about your amazing outfit?
So my outfit, which I realize you can't, is not very impressive from the waist up. So this, and my fake hand,
Ooh.
is a replica of Vampira. Was best friend or good friends with Liberace. So he designed a gown for her. And these designers out of California, La Femme et Noir, did a replica of the Liberace gown. So this,
Ooh.
It's amazing.
I mean,
Gorge.
it's black and rhinestones, but
And you wear it pretty much once a week, right?
yeah, once a week. If it's chilly for the sleeves, it works well.
And you're obviously a Vampira fan.
I'm saying I'm a fan, long time Elvira fan. Yeah.
How did you get into him?
So I got into Elvira. I'd say not drama. I have both of their memoirs sitting next to me,
Ooh.
just staring at me. For
I can't wait. I was dog sitting for Daniel, who we had last week, and he had Cassandra's, Elvira's memoir out, but I was like, I'll wait till he finishes it and then I'll snatch it up.
Oh, it's so nice. Nice of you.
But back to Vampira, the important one. So I've kind of been into her since that the Ed Wood movie came out. 1994, right? 94.
Which is pretty much how I learned of her existence. I mean, I just grew up with Elvira and her big titties on TV.
Right.
Yeah, which I also remember as well. But she was always, Elvira's fun. I grew into liking that. But as a kid, it was just like standees in the liquor store, things like that.
Yeah.
But Vampira is just kind of cool. Like she has a casual coldness to her that I found very exciting. And as a kid, we just grew up. My family wears a lot of black. My mom wears a lot of black. So there are even pictures. I think I sent Kerri, I sent you a picture earlier of just me.
I can bring it up.
Oh, you don't?
If you don't mind. All right, we'll keep going.
But yeah, like I remember being like an 8-9-year-old and wearing all black to school and having kids be like, "Oh, are you dressed for a funeral today?" Kind of fun stuff like that. So Vampira just became a nice little icon to snatch onto.
So they were asking an 8-year-old if you had a funeral to go to.
Well, yeah, other 8-year-olds. And actually, and that was during one of those like ballroom dance classes they make little kids do where you like learn etiquette. And she came up in her like literally pink taffeta puffy outfit. And I didn't even know her. And she said, "What are you dressed for a funeral?" And I was like, "No, black is actually very stylish." And then I, pulled out my little black lace gloves. Later that day, same evening, where the young men bring the ladies punch, her young man brought her punch and then vomited all over her dress. So, I mean, I haven't really even thought about that in a while,
Karma.
Little goth justice.
That's like an episode of that's like Addams Family, straight out of an episode of Addams Family.
For those who don't know, I put Vampira in the lower left-hand corner of our screen so you can see. Not that anyone watching Goth Talk Live doesn't already know what Vampira looks like, but just in case. So tell us a little bit about Vampira for those who don't know her. How did her career start?
Yeah, so Vampira was one of the first early horror hosts on TV. The show actually had a really short stint. It was just a little over a year. So it was a very short period of time. Not a lot of the footage of it actually exists because they didn't really record it. So the very short stint, and she kind of got her start even before she became Vampira, just bopping around Hollywood. She went to a party one evening, a costume party, dressed up with her own creation, kind of based off of Charles Adams' drawing. Really caught the television producer's eye, and he said, "I want you to do a host and do a show." And that's a short version, but that's kind of more or less how her thing got started.
Well, that's kind of similar. I heard this. Somebody told me, I think it's true, Vin Diesel got famous by renting a very expensive white like Corvette and wearing all white and just going to the hippest clubs and crashing the hippest parties.
Wow.
So it's like the opposite of Vampira because he was in all white. But
yeah,
anyway.
no, I like that. Vin Diesel and Vampira is one of the same.
Yeah,
They're like the
two-
bizarro version.
yeah, the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then she did that for a while after, you know, they decided to end the television show. She kind of had a hard time. She was a very strange person. Like, you know, there are some people, and this is maybe why goths kind of love her. She was very artistic, very sensitive, but very, very strange. Could not communicate to a lot of people. And if you read, I do actually highly recommend the biography on her, which the cover is really silly looking. The font in the book is silly. It's written by her niece, which makes you think it's going to be terrible. But it's actually, as far as memoirs go, beautifully written. Because it helps that she was a hoarder. So she would write little notes on anything in her house and like stick it to a mirror. So there are years and years of quotes from her that she dated. So there's a lot of information on her if you could find it, and her niece kind of did.
I mean, I'd be disappointing if Vampira wasn't a hoarder, you know?
Yeah.
It's very on brand. I'm definitely going to read that.
And that I already put that, wrote it down. I'm going to find it in the library.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait. And if nothing else, I'm going to take that to heart, and I'm going to also become a hoarder, just like my hero, Vampira.
Yeah.
Well, and Ralph, you better start leaving notes to yourself so your nieces and nephews don't totally mess up your memoir.
Yeah, no, good point.
But I know you were talking about music this week.
Yes.
So I wanted to do a little tie-in. So in her kind of later years, so she you know, fell out of the spotlight as she moved off television and wasn't really doing well.
And the Ed Wood movie that takes place kind of later in her career, right?
Yeah, that happens a little later. So she ended up, so her waist, which you can almost see in that picture in the bottom, she had a 17-inch waist. And in order to do that, she did a lot of, you know, tying of plastic bags around her waist and going running, and malnourished herself pretty severely. So she had actually a lot of health issues. She had, pernicious anemia, which can long-term give you leg and joint issues. So she pretty much had to walk with a cane for the rest of her life, starting in her mid-30s to 40s, really.
Which is luckily on brand.
Yeah. Which Ed Wood came along. She didn't want to have anything to do with him, but she ended up needing the money, is my understanding of it. So she did that movie. She wouldn't refuse to talk in it, which is why she doesn't. So that happened kind of in the 60s. And then she was just doing little bits and pieces of work. But she was mostly living by herself. She ended up having a really bad situation where someone broke into her apartment and attacked her and nearly killed her, to the extent that she actually threw herself down the stairs of the apartment building to pretend she was dead so he would stop attacking her. Wow. Which is something
that's a good instinct.
Yeah. And what's terrible at the time, and I think that was in the late 60s, is the newspapers put out articles talking about, you know, like the mistress of the dark is like beaten and attacked, and she's just looking cute and shows like a single bruise on her arm, where in reality she had broken ribs and years of trauma. So she was already strange, kind of an unusual person, and then you have something like that happen, and you know, she just kind of further and further isolated. So then you're moving towards the 70s. She barely has any money because she can't really work. This is really depressing, but it gets fun.
That's okay.
Yeah.
As Ralph says, it's goth talk. It gets depressing.
So she's really having a hard time. She basically, from what the book says, she has like a sofa and 2 plastic chairs that she sleeps in, and that's kind of her life. She has a poodle named Carla that keeps her entertained. And she's, not doing well, kind of late 70s at this point. And she happens, punk is just starting to enter the scene, right? Late 70s. And this is in LA, where she is at this point. And her house happens to be about a half a mile away from a kind of punk artist venue called the Anti-Club, which was, from my understanding, and I can't read the chat, so if anyone says I'm wrong, then I'm probably wrong.
So far, they're saying they're just learning a lot, which is great.
Good. So the band called the Screamers, the lead singer, if you're familiar, Tomeda de Plenty, this like really, punk artsy guy. He's walking home from rehearsal at the Anti-Club, and he sees this really peculiar looking woman, tiny little woman, sitting outside with her poodle. And he starts talking to her, and he finds out she's Vampira, and he is just stunned. And he's like, how are you here? You're amazing. I love you. And she, as strange people are attracted to strange people, was totally enamored with him. And they became best friends, which is adorable, to the extent that he would bring her sandwiches, pick her up, and they'd go on like little day trips together, kind of sweet things like that. And he could tell she was a beautiful, like, artistic soul. And he's like, you can't just be by yourself living here. Like, come to the club, come to the Anti-Club that I perform at sometime. Like, we'll have you like recite a poem, whatever you want to do, just come. So she eventually, I think like a month or 2 went by, decided, went to the club, did a whole piece that she made up, performance piece. And he went across the entire crowd of his punk venue and gathered, I think, $200 from punks, from like art punks, $200 to pay her and be like, thank you for coming. Here you go. And she loved it. They loved her. So they decided, you know what, we have to do this all the time. So they decided the last Thursday of every month, she would come and do whatever she wanted to do. So she decided, and
to go back then and be able to go.
No.
I know. So she came up with a character. She didn't perform as Vampira. This was just her. But she came up with a character called Honey Gulper. And she, like, the character was this kind of like 1960s beatnik hipstery character who just told the gossip of the Hollywood and LA that she knew. Like, she was best friends with James Dean. So she like talked about James Dean and going to Googie's and like all these, little gossip and fun things. And they loved her. So she did that for a while. They paid her $25 a week, which is a lot for her.
Yeah.
At that
Back
time
then too, in the 70s.
Yeah. Because I think there was one entry in there that she talks about how she went to this burger place on the sketchy side of town because you could get 2 burgers for $1.25. And she would give the buns to her dog and then eat the 2 mini burgers. And then like that later entry is like, and then I went home and it only took me 25 minutes to barricade my door. Which is
Oh my God.
But yeah, so she performed at the Anti-Club for once a month until a up and coming band called the Red Hot Chili Peppers replaced her. And she performed there no more.
Boo! Fuck you, Anthony Kiedis.
But yeah,
way too. The chat. Some of them are coming clean, which is fine that they didn't actually know about Vampira.
Oh,
Elvira, being a stolen version.
Yeah. Well,
which is what Elvira wants for us.
Yeah.
No, Elvira's fine. But it is. She is kind of a little bit lost. It's easy. It's easy for her to get lost, especially now in pop culture. There's just so much to keep up with, and
yeah. And she was, on TV for such a short period of time none of us, like many of us, weren't alive for. And if you didn't happen to catch the broadcast, you wouldn't have seen it. So you might know her from like I know her from the Tim Burton remake of like a dedication to Ed Wood. So it's so far along. But so another more goth related, Patricia Morrison, who I consider to be like a goth queen in a way. So she performed mostly in punk bands, so with like the Bags and then Gun Club. But her look, so if you don't know Patricia Morrison, look her up and look up a picture of her. Because it's also reported, and this is not what Elvira says, and I love them both equally. Just to be saying.
Yeah, but you don't have to choose.
But it does also seem like, Elvira says she got her look or her hair from Ronnie Spector.
Right.
But when you look at it, it looks a lot like Patricia Morrison's hair. And Patricia Morrison was a young early goth in the LA scene in the same time period. So how Elvira kind of got her start, and interrupt me if I'm just jabbering.
No, I'm bringing up Patricia as we speak. So keep going.
Awesome. So part of how Elvira ended up getting her show is they were going to do kind of a reboot of the Vampira show. It's so tiny, but it's pretty fantastic in her tidiness.
Yeah, you're getting all of the major details here.
A lot of hair to fit on screen.
A lot of hair, a lot of black and leather and a little cleavage. But how the Elvira ended up getting her show is they were trying to reboot the Vampira show in the early 80s. So I think this was 82. But Vampira was not looking so great. She could still put on the costume, which she did for some of the punk shows. So the Misfits showed up at her door one day. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. It's a little more.
You can get that look a little better. But they were trying to reboot the Vampira show. They were looking for a woman to play Vampira, but be Vampira's daughter. So Mila Nurmi, aka Vampira, would be the mother character, but you'd have a sexy new Vampira-ish character. And they were looking for somebody who would kind of fit that role. Vampira, Mila Nurmi, wanted Patricia Morrison to be that person. They weren't, for whatever reason, they weren't interested. Instead, they found this very talented comedian, Cassandra Peterson, to play the role. So I forget where I was going with that story, but there's a goth connection.
Oh no, I love it.
I think people were curious about the transition of Vampira, Elvira.
Yeah.
There's controversy. People can be on whatever side.
Yeah. People have made this look iconic, but it makes sense if you're doing if you're hosting a show, get like a comedian who is quick and funny. So
yeah, and I guess that part of the thing why it didn't become the Vampira show again is Mila Nurmi tried to sue, saying that she had rights to the name, which she didn't, which is also why she was in such financial straits. But they decided
Vampira talking about Morticia, the inspiration for them all, and I think it is Charles Addams is what.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's even where Vampira said that herself, that she took inspiration from that character. It's hard not to. But yeah.
Well, that's great. Do you? I feel like you said. I feel like you were telling me some fun Vampira facts. I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember what else they had. Some more music ones. So
the music.
So also going back to Tomato de Plenty. So the Screamers, again, fun. It's punk, not goth, but if you want to make a playlist for yourself of things, fun music to listen to. He made possibly the first full-length punk musical in 1986 called Population, which is there's a nuclear holocaust and he's the only one left. But Mila Nurmi plays his mom in it. if you can happen to find it. So Vampira plays his mom. But while making that movie, she ended up meeting Jeff Satan of Satan's Cheerleaders. Again, not really goth, but related. And
yeah, all overlaps.
Yeah.
in the
And
zeitgeist.
he really wanted her to sing a song for the band. Because again, it makes sense if you see like a horror icon, you're a young punk band, you wanna steal that. But she doesn't sing. She's like, I don't sing. She's like, I can talk, I can preach. Like my dad was a preacher, her dad was a temperance preacher. She's like, I can do that, but I can't sing. And he goes, well, I happen to have, and he pulls out a flyer from a street preacher that he had gotten weeks before. And it's just random street preacher doomsday nonsense, and says, well, how about you sing this? Can you say this? And we'll just make some songs about it. So there are 2 songs by Satan's Cheerleaders, one called I'm Doomed, and another one called Operation Genocide. So got some names, I guess. If you want to hear Mayla Nurmi, aka Vampira, do some music herself. So I said that kind of counts as adjacent goth music, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The goth
Vampires involved and
you know, talking about incoming death. Then yeah, there you go.
I definitely want to listen to that.
I know.
Oh, people said let's hear him on the stream. Okay, let me see if I can bring it up here. It might take me a second.
Okay.
Ralphie, talk amongst yourselves.
Let me see. One more punk Vampira fact.
Please.
So she was that same time period. So this is probably like 84.
Is she Genocide Utopia? That's her. Oh wait, this one.
Yeah, Genocide Utopia, or I'm damned.
Okay, I'm damned. Okay,
I'm damned, or I'm
one of them had a swastika in the background.
Yeah, I'm not supporting the band or any. I don't know, but that's the songs. Oh, but she was the Cramps wanted her to come on stage and emerge from a coffin as they started their show. So she got all dressed up, you know, put her cane to the side of the stage, got all dressed up in her Vampira outfit, and just waited in the coffin and waited. 15 minutes goes by. Show's delayed. 30 minutes. Show's delayed. She waits an entire hour with her like health condition, everything in the coffin. Show's still delayed. So she emerges and just walks home. It's a story with no ending, but just.
I mean, it just shows the commitment of many goths. You know, neither heat nor they're in it for the long run.
Yeah, that's also exactly how I want every show to go for me. Get up, do my thing for 15 seconds, walk straight home.
All right, here's some. We'll get some. Let me turn it up. Some good Vampira vocals.
Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God. I believe that he died on the cross and shed his blood for the forgiveness of all my sins. I believe that God raised Jesus from the dead by the power of the Holy Ghost. I open the door of my heart and I invite you into my heart. Lord Jesus, wash away all of my sins. Wash them away in the precious blood that you shed for me. You will not turn me away, Lord Jesus. You will save my soul. I know because your word, the Bible, says so. Your word says that you will turn no one away, and that includes.
I wish I had this on my list.
Therefore, I know that you have heard me, and I know that you have answered.
So, yeah.
It is during that I realized how goth Christianity is. It's extreme. It's so fucked up and scary. Oh.
Yeah. I know.
Love that. Jeez.
Yeah, this all does seem goth. Everyone's right.
This seems goth. I think you're right. I think you're right, Spider Tube.
Victoria, let's talk about, because you brought up a good point when I was talking to you about goth acceptance and goth denial.
Oh yeah, and I didn't have really a particular point with that other than
No, but I feel like it's a good thing to throw out there.
Yeah, and like I know for myself, I was talking about kind of growing up admiring all this stuff, always wearing black, but I never thought I was like I like punk music. I'm all these other things. And like meanwhile it's like, small child, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I want to study Egyptian funeral rites.
Yes.
Like, okay, I was a little goth kid and I had no idea. But you kind of go on and there are all these things you like. I mean, even like Kerri, like you love thrifting, you love old things.
Old things.
That's very goth. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I do think it's like, I mean, I think because in movies and TV, it's so clear cut, like the goth person has the, Smiths playing in the background as they come on screen and they're wearing all black. But it really is kind of just also like some nerdy band kids who just wear, sweatshirts or whatnot. Or Daniel in his long johns tucked into his sweatshirt. There's a big range of goths. You don't necessarily always run with a crew.
For sure.
Do you think a lot of your friends are goth, Victoria, would you say?
I mean, I would say like growing up, I wouldn't have said so necessarily. And I wouldn't, to look at many of my friends, you wouldn't go like, oh, they're goths. But I know my core group of 3 friends who might even be watching now, we call each other the Coven. I mean, just like if we were like, oh, we're the 3 Musketeers, like, oh, we're the Coven. We don't actually do witch stuff. We watch horror movies and
Gorgeous. I love that.
But no official, like even growing up, I never had any friends that were like, here's like the goth crew or, we all do this thing. Like I knew of a few kind of goth people. And again, this is like, high school in like the 90s or, late 90s where it's a lot of like more Marilyn Manson type stuff, which isn't really anything that I'm interested in. So like that style of goth wasn't for me, but I don't know.
I think also like movies make us seem like we're all segregated as kids into groups. And like there were a few crews like that, but there are a lot of us who were like did a little this, like some punk, also played field hockey, also like loved doing the science fair every year.
Yeah, I called myself punk, but I was putting on a lot of eyeliner backstage when I was in theater. So
I love it. Well, real quick, Victoria, give us because we're going to count down our favorite goth songs. What are some of your favorite goth songs?
Some of my favorite goth songs. Do you know the band 45 Grave?
I don't.
So they're fun. They're kind of on, I think they're totally count as goth, but they're a little kind of doomy metally.
Love it.
But they're fun. They have, I love Halloween novelty songs, just as a general thing. And they have a great cover of one about Dracula doesn't drink blood, so he drinks polyunsaturated, non-carbonated something blood, which is the name of the song that's really long that I can never remember. They do a great cover version of that song, which is I found them, but they have a song called Party Time, which is a lot of fun. It's gothy, but also a little kiss of 80s hair metal in there, enough to make you have fun in your black garb. So that's a great one. And then like Love Will Tear Us Apart is just such a beautiful song. And that's, beautiful end and then like fun party end.
Yeah.
Those are like my 2.
Absolutely. Great choices.
Great picks. Yes. Well, thanks for having us on.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you for talking to us and being on Goth Talk Live. Everyone give it up for Victoria.
Yes.
Oh, wait. And what's
pleasure.
your, do you want to plug anything? What's your, got anything?
I got nothing. I'm a cheese maker. I got a show. You can look at my Instagram.
Yeah, what's your idea?
At Instagram and look at pictures of cheese.
There's some good
Yes.
cheese pictures. You know, I love it. All right, thank you, Victoria.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, let me spotlight some of the comments for her.
Oh.
That was great. I'm like really excited to actually read Vampira's book. Oops, now I'm just when the chat moves too fast and then I can't. There we go. Oh, say the IG again. I think it's V Swaynos. Let me double check.
Yeah.
Uh,
She was here to talk about goth stuff, but we could also next month do cheese talk live, and we could have
I
Victoria
know.
back and do an interview about the cheese. That was awesome.
It's her IG is V Swaynos. She definitely posts really interesting things. VSWAYNOS. I'll put it as our banner for a second. Here is her Instagram, and you know how I'm gonna do it, Ralphie. I love a good scroll. I love the scroll feature. News alert. I love a scroll.
Alert. V Swaynos.
So that's Victoria's. Yeah, check her out on ID because she does find some fun stuff and posts about it. Ralphie, here we go. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna read Vampira. I think I'm gonna read Vampira's first and then read Elvira's to be chronological.
I agree. I think Glamour Ghoul about Vampira, written by her niece. Wonderful. Can't wait.
What would if your niece wrote a book about you? Do you think she'd do a good job?
Well,
like right now. How old is she right now?
Yeah, right now I think she's like 10. And I just found out she has a cell phone because my mother texted me. She was like, I tried calling you, but it went to your niece. And I was like, wow, she has a phone now. Jeez. But yeah, if she were to write a book about me, it would be adorable. It would be so cute. Quick story about her. My brother-in-law once said to my niece, hey, her name, are you ready to party hard? They were like at a birthday party, and she got very shy and quiet, and she tugged on his shirt and said, Daddy, I don't like to party hard. I like to party soft.
Oh, God.
I know. I still think about partying soft every day. She's adorable.
Oh, gosh. I only want to party soft.
Yeah. Thank you again so much, Victoria. That was wonderful. Glamour Ghoul by Sandra Niemi. Wonderful.
That's the book. I have no nieces or nephews, so I cannot. We're not a batch of procreators. What can I say?
We'll have to get someone else to write your book. That's fine.
Delendo name my dog. Yes, we can get Shannon, my dog, to write it.
Oh, yes, that would be
Great
nice.
Memoir.
Yeah.
About all the walks I take her on. Yes, thank you, Victoria, again. Okay, Ralph, are you ready to count down? So Ralph and I did our top 5. That was our homework this week. I'm going to get closer so I can bring up my my picks. So that was our homework this week. We were picking our top 5 goth songs. Was it hard, Ralph?
It was. At first, I was like, God, what goth songs do I listen to? Yeah, shout out to Not Appropriating. At first, it was hard to think of some, but then as I kept going, I have whittled it down to a top 5 with a honorable mention.
Yeah,
so
I had a few that just like didn't make it. I didn't put Love Will Tear Us Apart on, even though now I kind of more think about it, the more I regret it, because it is just like a song that just like, it's a great song. It's like I feel like I have memories from multiple decades of my life about it. But I didn't include it. I didn't include any Cure. I really tried. I know I said this last week. I do love Just Like Heaven's a great song. It's just all their big hits are overplayed. And then Virginia helped me. She gave me some deep cuts, and I didn't have enough time to like ruminate on it and really feel like I could put it in the list.
Oh, I know. I had to finally just like slap it together and put a bow on it and say I'm done, because I could have done it for another 3 weeks. So
I love the song. Well, how should I say this? Love the song Hong Kong Garden by Sushi and the Banshees, but does not hold up racially, even though I do believe her that it was written as an anti-racist song. I mean, I believe the intentions were there. She was reacting to something in the 80s, but not, it doesn't, for right now. Maybe one day we'll in the future get to a place where
I bet.
we don't have conflicted emotions about it, but it's a little, you know. I mean, even if you haven't heard it, you can guess the song.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard it, but I'm filling in the blanks here. Yeah,
it's a fun song, but it's not. Do you want to do your list first? You want me to do my list?
Sure. Yeah, I don't have any visuals because they're just songs.
No, you don't have. You don't have to.
Yeah. So my top 5 has to begin with the honorable mention. I Googled this many times, and time and again, the internet responded, Depeche Mode is goth, so it's got to be Personal Jesus, which really belongs in the top 5, but didn't quite make it. It's such a great fucking song, and Depeche Mode's a pretty sweet band. I love them so much.
Yeah, I love what's their other hit?
The Just Can't Get Enough?
No,
that's the other one I love, but I don't think that one's very goth.
The All I Ever Wanted.
Oh yeah.
Is it just called All I Ever Wanted? Maybe.
No. Isn't that one?
Oh, Enjoy the Silence. I knew it had a title that was like, you know, it's very goth the way they say Enjoy the Silence.
Exactly. These are all great songs, but for me, Personal Jesus fucking rules. Number 5 for me.
The official. This is the official top 5.
This is the official. Number 5 just squeaked in there, and it's mostly because of how obsessed I was with the music video. Fever Ray's To the Moon and Back, which is about it's about a hookup. It's about she's calling somebody that she a fuck buddy of hers, and she is hooking back up with them, but the video features a little monster walking through like a neon futuristic dystopia where she comes upon, or the other way around, 4 magical creatures who use her as a table to eat tea off of, and then once they're finished with their tea, they unzip and piss all over her. And I highly recommend To the Moon and Back by Fever Ray. Check out the video.
Yes.
So
before
good.
Bed tonight. That's everyone's homework. Right before they fall asleep.
Please, anytime. There's no wrong time. There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
In the chat, I have heard Richard Cheese's Personal Jesus, and it is very fun.
I have not. I will look that up.
That's your homework right before you go to bed.
I will. Number 4 is the Joy Division track that I have chosen. I specifically, so I have Joy Division, I have The Cure on this list. I did not pick the number 1 greatest hit, but I did still pick a good hit, Atmosphere by Joy Division, which I feel like you hear all the time everywhere. I feel like it's in everything. And the reason that I fell in love with this one recently is because of Hollow Eve, the non-binary drag performer, post-binary drag performer, did a tribute to a friend who passed away, where they spelled out "choose death" on their cleavage with staples and string. And they did it to Atmosphere by Joy Division. So I watched that performance about 200 times, and I'm obsessed with it. And it now makes me cry.
Another pre-bed watch for everyone, please.
Amen. If you can find it, please share the link with me, because I can't find it anymore. It used to be on Hollow Eve's Instagram, and I no longer can find it. Number 3 is an old favorite that I was screaming along to in my bedroom when I was in high school, and it is a Deep track from Garbage's first self-titled album, As Heaven Is Wide. I don't know if anybody else but me considers this to be a goth song, but I As far from God as heaven is wide, as far from God as angels can fly. But it's also Shirley Manson, like sexy whisper singing it to you. And oh my God, it was just everything that gay, dramatic Ralphie wanted from music in high school. So even though I was punk, that one really spoke to me. Number 2.
And also for the chat, I will put this show will after this will live on YouTube, and I'll put in the YouTube description our list. So if you want to go back and watch it, you can find it, and I'll do a screenshot, and Ralphie and I can share it on IG as well.
Please, thank you. Number 2 is another. This is a deep cut from an EP of Poppy's. Big Poppy fan here. But Meet by Poppy, which is a song about a future 2033, just a little bit in the future, after aliens have come and taken over, and they put us in cages and use us for meat. It's a secret vegan propaganda song, I think, that I can't stop listening to. So goth. And it's a 9 Inch Nails ripoff that I absolutely love. I think she did it perfectly. It's so good. And also Poppy's later transition from pop princess to metal goth like superstar is something that I think really speaks to me, I can tell you.
Yeah. Can you tell people about Poppy who don't know?
Yeah, she is a pop star. She wrote pop music, and she and her producer, who worked with her all the time, she no longer does, were making pop music for a few years, and then out of nowhere, she totally changed her style, completely started making like heavy metal music, punk music, this like techno but dark like synth kind of stuff. And she just did a complete about face aesthetically, and it's really exciting. She said she's never going back.
Just like a complete change aesthetically.
Exactly.
Just like me and Ralph.
Exactly.
Right here.
That's why I'm saying she deserves to be on the list, because that speaks to me alone. But Meet by Poppy, it's such a good song. And for me, number 1, I kind of arbitrarily picked one of the 15 Cure greatest hits. It's Love Song for me. It's so pretty. I have to say I love Friday I'm in Love a little bit more. But if I'm going for something that gives me that like goth brooding feeling, Love Song by The Cure. So beautiful. So lovely.
Now I'm regretting not putting The Cure on the more we talk about it.
But that's my top 5.
I don't like The Cure, but I do like The Cure. You know.
How can you not like The Cure?
It's just like, well, any song not any song, but a good song hitting at the right moment.
Amen. You know. It's such a good karaoke song. Anyone can sing Love Song. It's super fun. Everybody remembers it. It's a great one. Love it.
That's a great list.
Oh, thank you.
Round of applause for Ralphie's list. All right, I think I do have some visuals because I don't know why, but
I love it. I love it
because I wouldn't be able to keep track of my thoughts without them. So let's this might take me a second to load up. All right, I gotta go into presentation mode. You guys can all see this happening. There we go. Okay, so here's my list. I told it over a lot. All right, my number 5 pick. Oh, wait. There we go.
There she is.
The Smiths, which I know goths like the Smiths. Are musically they're goth. I'm going to keep apologizing constantly during this list. I can't not do it. I was raised as a woman. We apologize a lot.
We do. I mean, Morrissey definitely has earned lots of apologies.
I know.
We will be apologizing for him forever.
And I picked, There's a Light That Never Goes Out because it's my favorite Smith song. I love doing it karaoke. I mean, it's very goth in lyrically, if a 10-pound ton bus kills the both of us. To die by your side. It's a very fun karaoke song. All right, so I was going back and forth between a couple Smith songs, but that is my favorite. Next, we have Nick Cave, Into Your Arms. I was having a hard time picking which Nick Cave song because I love Into Your Arms, but sometimes if you close your eyes, I feel like I'm listening to I can convince myself I'm listening to the National, which I don't like.
I know.
Which I don't like it, but I do like the lyrics. I have cried when the song has come on numerous times. It's pretty goth. I was reading that it rumored maybe about a breakup with PJ Harvey, which is a pretty goth thing. And fun fact, we didn't talk about this. I almost put Cosmic Dancer on, but I went with Into Your Arms. And Red Right Hand's fun and maybe more like spooky gothic, but I went with Into Your Arms. We didn't talk about this last week when I was talking about Nick Cave, though. Fun fact, I don't know if anyone knew this. He is a big fan of the movie Gladiator and wrote a sequel. He wrote Gladiator 2, and Ridley Scott did pay him for it. And it's the idea of what was who's the actor in Gladiator?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Okay, now he's in the afterlife, and as a gladiator, he has to go through history, fighting every major battle. And Nick Cave wrote that. I don't know if it's online anywhere or not. Shout out to Austin Lennon Jones for giving me that fact. I always love that. That's
amazing. That sounds so much better than the first one.
I know, it sounds so much better. Like I would kill to view a Nick Cave directed Gladiator, or not written Gladiator. Ridley Scott still directing, and Nick Cave.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Writing it. So that's just always blows my mind, that fact. All right, so that was number 4. Number 3.
I
mean, first I'm like, it's like a little goth. It's goth. I mean, look at her. She's like a little nymph. She's got, I mean, it's about the Wuthering Heights. Of course it's goth. Love Kate Bush. I mean, there's a lot of good Kate Bush songs. I kind of have phases with a lot of them, but this is definitely the most gothic of them all. Shout out my friends Katie and Andrew who do it in karaoke and kill it. It's I've
so good.
I've stupidly tried and like wanted to bail halfway through. This isn't as funny as I thought. But yeah, we got oh god, such a good
Which
song.
version is more goth? Red dress version or white dress version?
Well, white she's so. Let me go back. I was actually like they're both pretty goth. It was really hard. I was looking at picking the screenshot. I was having a hard time, but I think the way she glows in this with the white is
I agree. I absolutely agree that the white one is more goth. Yeah.
But I do love the red in the field. All right, next I felt like I had to pick Bauhaus, but I wanted to. Bela Lugosi's dead. Just a great goth song. Some people say maybe one of the first gothic songs out there. It's a long one, 9.5 minutes. We don't even get into the vocals till a few minutes in, but yeah, I think it's my favorite Bauhaus song, even though it is, I guess, the big one. I don't even know.
This is something I have to check out. I've never listened to this band before. I'm aware that they are a quintessential goth band, but haven't cracked open Bauhaus yet.
I wanted to have some classic old school goth bands on it, so this was kind of my choice. And this it's just lies. You've definitely heard them. I love it. All right, here's my number 1 pick, which actually is a tie. Okay, so I love Psychic TV. They're goth, but they're also kind of art, and Throbbing Gristle was industrial. It's a tie between I love Godstar and I love the Orchids. Godstar is just one of those songs that's always just in my head a little bit. Like I'm always just saying, this is a story. But the Orchids is maybe my favorite song by them. And I actually didn't know it was by them before. I heard the Caliphone version first. And then I didn't learn till later that it was actually like a TV song. I've made me in the last few years. My ex was into them and got me into them, and I love them. There's a really great documentary. I think it's called like the The Ballad of Genesis and Lady Jane. It's a very good documentary about Genesis, P. Orange, and their, gender merging. I don't say gender bending because they wouldn't define it like that. But yeah, I love Psychic TV. I think I can play. I queued up the Orchids because I love that song so much. So I'm gonna switch to that. Video file. Let's see. Will this get us? Oh no, that's not what I want. YouTube. Maybe we get a copyright claim. Who cares? Let's listen to it. I queued it up past. There we go.
My eyes burn and claws rush to fill them. And in the morning after the night, I fall in love with the light. It is so clear I realize that here at last I have my eye.
All right, just a bit so we get no copyright takedown. But yeah, I love that song. I know that it was my top pick probably isn't like the gothiest pick, but I went with what I like. And that's what it's all about, I'm like, who am I apologizing to? This is my list of the songs I like.
So, exactly.
It's like, why can't I do this? Who am I arguing with?
I put Cure at the top of mine, so you can put whatever the fuck you want at the top.
Yeah.
Of yours, so.
Thank you, Ralph.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. But it was fun. I should make a Spotify playlist too. Oh, I know. There wasn't any. There was a lot of things. What did we miss? What do you love? I'm gonna highlight some of the comments now because there was a lot I had. I think I had them. I had Under the Milky Way. What else did I have? There's a bunch of songs that came and went.
But I am more than open to our lists being read in chat. That is, please. Oh yes, please tell us who we're missing. Who are you mad you didn't see? Cocteau Twins, great point. Great point.
Yeah, 5 was hard.
Yeah. Oof, I know.
Yeah, I feel like I was going through a lot of like Spotify, like just did goth playlists. And I found one, it was like classic goth and new goth. I'm like, that's good because I don't know any new goth bands. And then it was 526 songs. And I'm like, oh.
That is very goth.
Somebody went deep. I love that they went deep, but I'm not gonna get down on the 526 songs. But yeah, I'm sure there are good new gothic bands that I'm just not even aware of.
Yeah, there must be.
I love old music in general. It's so hard for me to get into anything new.
Amen. I mean, yeah, if it isn't by Megan Thee Stallion, well, I'm probably not going to listen to it. So
good point. Oh, we have some chat things. Where we go? Well, you all decided for goth for your life. Well, I think we went with goth because look at this complexion. Jamie was doing my makeup and she was just like, so what'd you do last week? You put powder everywhere? And I'm like, no, this is the way she came, baby girl. This is the way she came. We went goth partly because of the makeup, partly when we were watching Beetlejuice and The Craft. We loved all the looks.
Yeah. I've had to purchase a lot of makeup, but I haven't purchased a single costume piece yet. I already was leaning in this direction. And normcore, I'm a married homeowner. I had a Costco membership. I kind of did normcore, and now we're going radically in the other direction. Mm-hmm. So, good question though.
That's what, speaking of Master Pancake, which ones do you have this week, Ralphie? Why don't you plug what you're doing?
This week with Master Pancake, I am only going to be doing the Thursday night show, the Thursday Night Crazies. And we have been doing Stranger Things season 1, but in solidarity with all of the trans employees doing a walkout on Thursday, instead, we are going to mock an episode of Murder, She Wrote, which honestly fucking awesome.
Amazing.
I'm so
Did
excited.
you know I was just in Murder, She Wrote Town? They shot it in Mendocino, not in Maine, because it looked good, close enough to Maine, and they didn't have to fly everyone as far.
Totally.
And I kept saying the whole time we was there, could I make money doing a Murder, She Wrote walking tour of Mendocino? Like, would I mean, it's expensive to live there, but I think I could. Like, I think that might be my plan B or C or D. I think we're on plan D by now, let's be honest.
Yeah,
my plan D is moving to Mendocino and, doing a walking tour. I think I'd be great at it.
Kerri, you would be amazing at it.
I would my outfits would be mwah.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. And then would the people come to Mendocino to take the tour? That's the question.
We'll see. We will see.
I think it could be like a kitsch thing that people would do.
Oh, sure. Definitely.
Would you guys come to Mendocino and see me do a Murder, She Wrote? I'm not even like I'd have to watch a lot. I mean, I've watched a lot, but like spaced out over,
of course,
25 years. Anyway, that might do.
Kerri, I'm still thinking about plan E or F. How many backup plans I've burned through so far, and now here we are, plan E.
Plan E. Goth Talk is like plan D and a half, where it's like, could this be us? That's great. I'll be on the Scream 2 Master Pancake on Saturday.
Yes! Ooh, fun. You and Mac, right?
Yeah, wants to check out that double feature with Scream 1. I'll be there for the second one. And we got one more. Thank you so much, chat, and for everyone who is watching. And I'm gonna make sure we didn't mean it. Oh, you know who's a big Murder, She Wrote? Jason Mewes. That is so funny. Well, maybe I can have him plug my Murder, She Wrote tour on his Instagram.
Please. I love to get plugged.
By Jason Mewes? Wouldn't be the worst.
Well, yeah, I've definitely done worse.
On that note, this has been Goth Talk Live. We'll be back next Tuesday with some more guests. It'll be our last one for now. Who knows what'll come back? Maybe it'll be Cheese Talk next. We don't even know.
Oh, God, let it be Cheese Talk. That sounds great.
All right. Well, everyone have a good gothy week, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 7. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, chat.
Boo.